Peugeot has a remarkable history in off-road competition, having 3 times created a team that has swept all before it at the highest level. The third triumphant coming of Peugeot has seen it blitzkrieg the Dakar Rally, a grueling 8,000 kilometers, 4,970-mile, 2-week race begun in Africa in 1979 and now run in South America each January. Peugeot's first attempt in 2015 failed miserably, but a win in 2016 and a 1-2-3 finish in 2017 gives it hope of repeating the 4 wins in a row that the team achieved in the late 1990s. So now for the follow-up. Peugeot's WRC history meant it didn't have to go far into the alumni in creating a dream team of talent, and as it aims for a 3rd straight win in the most important off-road event in the world, the team it has gathered is totally focused on developing the next state-of-the-art car, while continuing its winning ways. Cyril Despers, facing camera above, won the Dakar Rally 5 times on a KTM motorcycle before switching to Peugeot cars in 2015. His finishes since then have been 34th in 2015, 7th in 2016, and 3rd in 2017. He's the underachiever of the 4-man team. Stefan Peter Hansel, standing at right, has won the Dakar Rally a record 13 times, 6 times on a Yamaha motorcycle, 3 in a Mitsubishi, twice in a Mini, and he has taken the last 2 wins in the 2016 and 2017 Dakar Rally. Carlos Sainz, seated at computer terminals above, won Dakar in 2010, but he is best known as twice World Rally champ and the winner of 26 WRC rallies. He has also won countless major raid events, including the first 2 Silkway rallies in 2009 and 2010 when he headed the successful Volkswagen foray into rally raid with the Touareg. The 4th member of the team is Sebastian Loeb, winner of 78 WRC championship events, 9 consecutive WRC titles plus since semi-retirement from WRC. He has acquitted himself with distinction at the many other forms of motorsport he has attempted, winning events in the World Touring Car Championship, World Rallycross Championship and finishing 2nd in the 24 Hours at Le Mans. Loeb is a motorsport polymath. Given the team assembled, Peugeot's challenge in winning a 3rd straight Dakar is clearly not being taken lightly. Hence we're seeing Peugeot's 2018 Dakar contender, the 3008 Dakar Maxi, above, several months earlier than last year's car, and we're going to see it under competition conditions next week in the 2017 Silkway Rally. If you haven't heard of the Silkway Rally, there's every chance you'll know a lot more about it soon because television rights have been sold into 196 countries for this year's race. The spectacular 10,000-kilometer, 6,214-mile event is 2,000 kilometers, 1,243 miles, longer than the Dakar and runs the vague route of the ancient Silk Road. The event starts in Moscow on July 7th and winds its way across Russia and Kazakhstan to finish on July 22nd in Xi'an, China. The ambitions of the Silkway Rally to bring focus to this history-rich region and to offer an Eastern Dakar event over equally spectacular wilderness are clear. Watch out for some astonishing imagery over the next few weeks. The 3008 Dakar Maxi will be driven in the July 7th to 22nd Silkway Rally by Loeb, which is an unprecedented early competition debut for a Dakar car. The reason is that the new Peugeot 3008 Dakar Maxi is 20 cm, 8 in, wider than last year to allow the suspension track to be increased by 10 cm, 4 in, each side. It is such a radical departure from current practice that it needs to be evaluated under real conditions before it is relied upon by the whole team. The much broader wheelbase gives the rear-wheel drive car greater stability at speed, and Loeb is quite positive about what the car brings to high-speed desert racing. I think the car is much more stable now that it is wider, and so it feels a bit different to drive, Loeb says. In the very narrow and technical parts that does mean it's more cumbersome of course, but in terms of stability and driving it's definitely a step forward. The car has less of a tendency to roll on its suspension now, so that gives you more confidence to attack and get it sideways. I'd say the strongest point of the Peugeot 3008 Dakar Maxi is the off-road ability that it has. With its wide track and big wheels, it can go more or less anywhere. It's maybe not so agile on stage-type roads, that's more the territory of four-wheel drive cars. But the advantage of our car is the fact that it can tackle anything, especially the dunes. Loeb will be the only starter in the new prototype, as his teammates Despers and Peter Hansel will be driving the same cars that finishing 1-2-3 in the 2017 Dakar Rally, and it will be on the younger pairing to ensure the team retains the Silkway title won last year by Despers. It will also be interesting to see how Loeb fares in the car in comparison to his teammates.
Like many gearheads, one of my earliest, formative experiences that established my lifelong fascination with cars involved Ascension 1963 Volkswagen Beetle named Herbie. The original movie, The Love Bug, was really a big mash note to cars and grassroots racing. Later sequels got worse and worse, and what Disney is planning now for a reboot is an outright travesty. We have to do something. Well, I was delighted to find out that Disney XD was considering a Herbie reboot at all. The path they seem to be taking embodies the worst stereotypes of idea-bankrupt Hollywood-ackery. According to TVLINE, here's what Disney is thinking for the reboot. The potential reboot is looking for a girl or boy to play Lily or Landon Reed. It appears that Herbie hasn't cemented whether the lead child will be male or female. Lily Landon is part scientist, part entrepreneur, part daredevil and realizes, when his parents go missing, that they've secretly been working on a government project, a talking car named Herbie. Herbie is key to helping the kid reunite with his parents, but a gang of criminals also wants to get its paws on the state-of-the-art vehicle. What the fuck? No, man, no. A secret government project? Herbie is a state-of-the-art vehicle? A talking Herbie? Did these people accidentally get confused and watch a bunch of old Knight Rider episodes? This is a betrayal of everything that made Herbie wonderful in the early movies. Herbie's fundamental nature is antithetical to this high-tech, computerized secret government project bullshit. There's a core of humble homeliness that's key to what Herbie is. He's a 1200cc's little economy car, and all the remarkable things he achieves and does are great because he's not portrayed as some over-engineered talking supercar. Herbie's essence is that he's an underdog, always outclassed, but with an iron resolve and heart. It doesn't really matter why Herbie seems to be self-aware and capable of so much more. Any attempt to fill in some complex, logical backstory is doomed. Did the addition of microscopic midichlorians somehow make Star Wars better? Have you ever met a human being who didn't have a crowbar lodged in their cerebrum who actually liked the idea of midi-fucking-chlorians? Because that's all this government project bullshit is, more midichlorians. The original movie had just enough in the way of explanation, and it was just elegant and vague enough to be perfect. One of the characters, Tennessee Steinmetz, suggests this. Jim, it's happening right under our noses and we can't see it. We take machines and stuff them with information until they're smarter than we are. Take a car. Most guys put more love and time and money on their car in a week than they do on their wife and kids in a year. Pretty soon, you know what? The machine starts to think it is somebody. That's plenty. Disney has to respect kids enough to know that they don't always need some overwrought backstory. They don't need a car to talk to understand its intent. They don't need a half-CG face on the car. The current batch of little kids really isn't that different than the batch I was a part of. I know, I own and operate a 6-year-old one. If I could fall in love with a stubborn, moody, mischievous, competitive, and loyal car, one that, I should add, even attempted suicide in the first movie, I have no doubt a modern kid can too. The Herbie series absolutely deserves a reboot. Disney's right about that. It needs to be modernized and made current and relevant. But, it has to stick to the key traits that made Herbie what he is, and none of those include human speech, clandestine government projects, or high-tech and wavy justifications. Disney can make some other car show for that. Just take another pass at Herbie in a way that builds on what made him great, once. If Disney does this, I promise I'll quit bringing up eugenics and human extinction in relation to the Cars movies. Deal?